now adjourn. I call the member for Dawson.
Well, thanks, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I want to speak today about the union movement. I have been a member of a union in the past, the Australian Manufacturing Workers Union, when I was 21, first job out of university, working in the print factory there, and had the union ticket. I also was a member of the Media, Entertainment and Arts Alliance, the journalists' union, when I worked for newspapers. My father was a member of the Federated Clerks' Union. My grandfather on my mother's side was a member of the Dock Workers' Union in Glasgow, and I don't know you could get any more union than that. So there is union in my family history. Unions do serve a role. Here's the but. They have lost their way. They have now become an activist and fundraising arm purely for the Labor Party, and we do see little else from the union movement other than that. And yesterday, in their March 4 protest that they had, where they were rebels without a cause, you know, they had to march for because the date was March 4, and then they had to make up what they were marching for. More it was what they were marching against, and they gathered outside my office. 100 were expected, flat out being half of that there. But they were marching against things like unfair workplace contracts, potential changes to the minimum wage, and potential changes to penalty rates. Well, you know, no one in this parliament is in favour of unfair workplace contracts. The Prime Minister has actually said in the press last week, we are not going to legislate the minimum wage or penalty rates. Nobody wants to see a lower wage country, so that is not on our agenda, and I can assure you I support the Prime Minister's motions. Further, I can assure you, as I said, I do not support unfair contracts in the workplace. Actually, the Labor movement, the union movement, would do well to note that the leader of the Labor Party, when he was the minister responsible, actually put in the Act that there was going to be a full yearly review of modern awards that the Fair Work Commission would have to do. And one of the things they would need to review was penalty rates. So if there's someone who actually was responsible for any look into penalty rates, it was the leader of the Labor Party. Can I say unions have lost their way? I mean, they were out there supporting the carbon tax under the previous government while businesses were struggling and having to let workers go. Infamously, the AWU leader at the time said that they would come out against it if one job was lost. Well, I know plenty of local businesses that had to let workers go because of the increased costs on electricity during that period, and you know, the AWU still supported it. The CFMEU, the Mine Workers Union, actually donated money to the organisation GetUp, substantial amounts of money. And this organisation campaigns against the sector that employs them. Crazy stuff. They make excuses, oh, that was the building division. Too bad. They should have extricated themselves from that union since that payment was made. Workers' money is going to the union, going to organisations like GetUp, which are cutting their own throats. It is crazy stuff. Now, the litmus test for the union movement is this. Forget protesting outside my office about things which aren't going to happen, and actually take up the cudgel and support jobs with me. I'm pushing for the Abbot Point project, something that will create 650 jobs for their members who are out of work. It'll create business opportunities and create extra indirect jobs through that. Support the approval process for the Abbot Point port expansion, which the state government are now stalling. If we can get that going, we can get jobs, we can get increased wages. That's something that the union movement should be for. It is being opposed at the moment because of a swampland, because we're going to put some spoil on a swampland that was actually created by duck hunters back in the 1950s. They diverted watercourses onto a dry patch of land to actually create a wetland so they could shoot ducks. That is the facts, and any local will tell you that, including the Mayor of the Burdekin-Shire Council, who was one of those instrumental in changing the watercourse. And that's what the argument against the Abbot Point project is at the moment. It's a crazy argument when there's 650 direct jobs in the balance and many more throughout the Galilee Basin. If that support is not forthcoming, I get to say I'm going to be talking to the responsible ministers about democratising the union movement, deregulating the union movement, allowing new unions to set up which actually are going to do something for the workers. Now, I praise a local, a Labor Party member in my electorate by the name of Dennis Bailey. He's gone out and set up a group, Labor for Abbot Point, and there are union members that are backing that. But the actual unions haven't said anything. They've been silent about Abbot Point. Well, don't be silent. Our region's future depends on this. Jobs depend on it. Wages depend on it. Do something productive for workers. union movement, please stand up and be counted on the Abbot Point battle.